On today's episode of Phinside The NFL, are the Miami Dolphins the worst team or one of the worst teams in football right now? We will dive into that topic and discuss. McDaniel, he left the door open for a Skylar return, and he discussed giving up play calling. We will go over that today. Also, poor execution and poor coaching, well, they cost Miami in week 3. We're going to dive into a little film and see if it's fixable and what exactly went wrong. So we got a jam-packed episode. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into this.
Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jayden has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Deep field down the near side, that open, touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep! He's got it for the touchdown again! Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go!
What is good, Finn Nation? What's good? And welcome into this episode powered by BetUS, where we got a lot to talk about, a lot to go over, and I appreciate all of you taking the time out to come and check me out. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, help me out with my friend Al, Algorithm. We got a lot to talk about today, from the presser that McDaniel had today to a little bit of film. Hey, if I had to watch the film, so will you. And then, we're going to dive into the topic. I mean, right now, the Miami Dolphins, if they'd be drafting 7th overall if the draft started today. So we are going to dive into that topic and really dive into it, into the numbers, and have the discussion. So we got a lot to cover today and not any time to waste. Shout out to the homie, Sean Siepler. He says, keep the Finns faith, brother. We need hope. And he drops $100 bomb. Shout out to the homie, Sean. I cannot wait to link up with him. I mean, if Tua ain't playing against the Raiders, Sean, get ready to be the highlight on my trip. You and Jennifer, get ready for you and Jennifer and Dougley to be the highlight on my trip for the Raiders game, okay? Appreciate you, Sean. Good dude right there. All right, you need to go show some love, show some support. I know we haven't hammered everything out in terms of sponsorship, but you need to go check out what Sean is doing with his fantastic organization, Clean the World. I mean, he is one of the few people out here actually making an impact and actually making a change and trying to better the world. So shout out to Sean. Appreciate you, sir. So I got a few things to talk about before we get into everything here today. Number one, a little bit, this is a Tua tie-in, but I don't know if anyone heard, but today Brett Favre, he admitted to Congress that, guess what? He's got Parkinson's disease. And remember, the article I read yesterday about Tua with Barry Jackson talking to a local neurologist, and one of the discussions was, continuous head trauma and continuous head injuries can lead to things like that. And remember, when Tua got injured, Brett Favre was one of the guys I referenced, and one of the guys I was telling y'all, I mean, this guy claimed he had 1,000 concussions. Well, we know he didn't have 1,000 concussions, but the fact of the matter is this, he's had hundreds of concussions. I think, that I don't think the 1,000 was meant to take literal. I think it was meant to take that as I've had a lot of concussions and hundreds of concussions. And, And now Brett Favre is dealing with Parkinson's disease. So, shout out to Brett Favre. I mean, I wish him nothing but the best in terms of health and recovery. Honestly, wasn't my favorite quarterback when he was playing. Way too careless with the football. But, would never wish that upon anyone. So, my stepfather, he's got Alzheimer's and the dementia is heavy right now. So I know how traumatizing on the person and family members, brain stuff can really be. So I just wanted to send prayers up and wish him the best. Another thing I need y'all to do, I can't go into specific details, but I need every single one of you to throw Richmond Webb emojis in the chat right now and throw some prayers up to Richmond Webb. He's going through it right now. He's got a serious family emergency that he's been dealing with for the last few days. We will not have an episode of Fin Too Deep tomorrow, so if there's going to be a show, it's going to be me solo dolo. But Richmond's going through it right now. I want everyone to send up some prayers for Richmond because, him and his family could use the good juju, the good vibes, the good energy right now, because he's really going through it right now. And, through podcasting with him, and we've been doing our show for like 4 years now. Richmond's one of my good friends in this community and one of my good friends in real life. So when he's hurting, I'm hurting, and when he's hurting, this whole community, this whole Phinside fam, we are all hurting. So shout out to Richmond, and we are just sending all the positive energy your way right now. Okay, so prayers up to Richmond Webb. Continuing on, man, if you've been watching me since 2019, when we started diving into the Herberts, when we started diving into the Tuas, when we started diving into the Burrows, there was one guy who stood out to me who wasn't draft eligible, and I was raving about. On the Tuesday night panel, when we started this channel, I would rave about him. How about that boy Jayden Daniels, huh? I was pulling up tweets of from 2021 of people saying, hey, man, I watch a show and I hear you rave about Jayden Daniels. I coached him, blah, blah, blah. And me talking about how special Jayden Daniels was going to be, and me still boasting Sam Howell back then. But shout out to Jayden Daniels. He made a couple throws yesterday, that game-sealing touchdown, and then that throw earlier, that right in front of the end zone, that deep bomb. Jayden Daniels is special right now. Jayden Daniels right now is the best quarterback in that class. I think Drake May is going to be a baller. I think Penix is going to be a baller. There were people in the community who hopped on the Penix train far late in the process, while you go back to last November, last December, that area, and I was hyping up Penix, and I even went on record and said, given their attitude, right, I would have seriously considered drafting Penix over Caleb Williams. And, I think Penix is going to be a baller too. Penix, May, and Jayden Daniels were my guys out of this class, but May and Jayden were my top two guys, and Jayden's been my guy since I watched him. When I fell in love with Jayden Daniels was when I watched him at Arizona State, and when I watched him and Herbert go back and forth, and he outdueled Herbert in 2019. I remember watching that game on Friday night, and I was just blown away with the freshman. I'm like, this kid bulks up a little bit. He's going to be special. And sure enough, Jayden Daniels, he looks like the best quarterback in this class so far. Shout out to Jayden Daniels. I mean, and give myself the old Barry Horowitz for being so out ahead of that guy and talking about him in like the 2019-2020 cycle. So shout out to Jayden Daniels. I know Dolphin fans don't want to hear it, but the Bills might be the best AFC team right now. Josh Allen is just on another level. Now, I say all that to say this. Never count out Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Just never. Just don't count them out. Just don't count them out. Especially in the playoffs, Bills fans, It's one thing to be the best regular season team, but we know when playoff and crunch time comes, it's Kansas City's game, right? Knight says, would you call Atlanta and offer something for Penix, brother? They're not trading him. He's the heir apparent to Cousins, job. They're not trading Michael Penix, brother. I could see them even getting out of Kirk after this year and going with Penix. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked at all. Would I love Michael Penix? 110%. I mean, I was on record last December saying I would probably draft him over Caleb Williams. Sure, Caleb's more talented, but when you talk about playing in structure, when you talk about the mental aspect of the game, Michael Penix is up there, man. So, I'm just saying, shout out to Michael Penix. I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see Drake May, even though he's on the Patriots. Jesus. But Jayden Daniels, he's just a stud, man. He is just a stud. So, like I said, guys and gals, this episode, it is sponsored by BetUS. All right? You go over here to BetUS right now. They don't even have the line out for the Dolphins in Tennessee, and I'll tell you why, because we don't know what the quarterback situation is. They got the line out. There's 2 Monday night games. They got the Seattle and the Lions game, but all your other lines are out. Your point spreads, your money lines for week 4. Go use BetUS. Go to betus.com. You can also bet on college football, everything, player props, all of it. All right. And you need to go over there, use code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. You'll have your first 3 deposits matched by 150% up to $2,000. Some of the quickest payouts in the industry, 24/7 customer service. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. And please remember, gamble responsibly. Okay, let's get into it. Let's nosedive. Let's dive right into this. Like, we're Michael Phelps, and the information and the Miami Dolphins are the pool in front of us. So let's start off with one of the main titles of this video. Are the Miami Dolphins really one of the worst NFL teams right now? Right now, if you do the math and you look at it, Miami would have the 7th pick in the NFL draft. That means a guy like, the 2 guys I'm pushing, because I don't think we'll be bad enough to get Cam Ward, Garrett Nussmeier, or Jackson Dart. They are right there. Jackson Dart right now is currently number 2 in terms of betting odds for the Heisman. Do I like Shedeur Sanders? Love the talent of that kid. Hate the attitude, and I think his attitude is red flag central for what you want at quarterback. So that's my issue with Shedeur. I like Quinn Ewers' game, but I don't think Dolphin fans are going to want an injured guy right now. And, I mean, if he's sitting there in the second round, a very intriguing. He may move up as the season goes on, but Jalen Milroe has a very intriguing ceiling too. So there are going to be plenty of options if Miami's sitting at 7. Now, Franklin Higgs says, hey, reason I saw a report about an hour ago that Huntley will be starting against the Titans. That was from an NFL rumor site, but we'll get into all that stuff in just a bit here. So the Miami Dolphins right now, if you do it, they'd be the 7th worst team in football right now. But, I mean, if you really want to do it, I mean, they're tied for the 4th worst team in football because there's a whole bunch of teams at 1 and 2 right now. Right now, the facts of the matter are this, all right? And we got some more stuff to show you guys here. Not just this stuff, but when you look at the draft order, when you take a look at the FPI, the Football Power Index rankings by ESPN Analytics, the Dolphins are 32nd. The Dolphins are 32nd. Now, you're going to ask yourself, well, what is FPI? What's the Football Power Index? Well, it's a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points above or below average a team is. Projected results are based on 10,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI, results to date and the remaining schedule. And the ratings and projections, they're going to update daily. But this is where we're sitting right now. FPI, the Football Power Index by ESPN Analytics, has us as the worst team in football right now. And funny, Scotty Joe would say top teams have top O-lines. When you get into the true pass set grade for the Miami Dolphins, 25th in the NFL right now. Only the Rams, Vikings, Titans, Patriots, Jags, Falcons, and the Browns are worse than Miami right now. When you get into the true pass set grades. Now, continuing into the facts right now, the Miami Dolphins, they have the 4th worst coverage grade in the NFL, 48.5. Only the Cardinals, the Commanders, and the Raiders are worse. You want to get away from PFF? Well, guess what? The Miami Dolphins went from having the number 1 offense last year to right now, as it stands today, they have the least points scored in the NFL through 3 weeks. They have 33 points. The second worst team is New England, and they've scored 6 more points than the Dolphins. The Jags, you saw what happened to them yesterday. Well, they've scored 7 more points than the Dolphins to this point. Hell, the New York Giants have scored 12 more points than the Miami Dolphins right now. We're about to see the Tennessee Titans this week. Tennessee Titans are 28th in the NFL. They've scored 48 points. That's 50 more points than the Miami Dolphins. If you break down the offensive rankings through week 3 for the Miami Dolphins, their 3 touchdowns is 30th. Their 33 points scored, like I just said, is 32nd. Their 749 passing yards are 8th. But remember, over 325 of those came from Tua in week 1. Their 285 rushing yards, that's 25th in the NFL. Their 11 sacks allowed, that's 9th in the NFL. Their 62.6 pass blocking grade is 22nd. You saw their 25th in true pass set grades. And they're 3rd in run blocking. They're 76.5. Now, when you flip to the defense through week 3, their 294.7 yards allowed per game is 11th. Their 24 points allowed per game is 21st. Their 8 touchdowns allowed is tied for 9th. Remember, they've only allowed 1 touchdown in the second half through 3 games. Their 3 turnovers is 20th in the NFL. Their 6 sacks is 23rd. Their 26.7 third down rate is 5th. Their 85.7 red zone touchdown rate, that's 30th. Their 69.6 run defense grade is 6th. But their 48.5 coverage grade, like I just went over, that's 28th. You're talking about a team that we all thought would contend based off what we saw last year, but is, especially on the offensive side of the football, noticeably regressing right now. That's just where we're at. They are just noticeably regressing right now. And that is why they are sitting with the 7th overall pick. Now, we're only 3 weeks in. I get that. But I'm going to say this. With Skylar Thompson as the starter of this team, yes, they are one of the worst teams in football because they're going to be inept offensively no matter what. You bring Tua back in here, we got a shot. You bring a legitimate backup in here, we got a shot. I think we could be better with Tyler Huntley. It's just not good right now. We've gone from thinking we're going to make a Super Bowl run to 3 weeks in a must-win situation, basically, coming up over the next 2 weeks. It's because we got to keep afloat here. And on top of that, the reality of the situation is this. They're regressing in a lot of areas where they weren't last year. I mean, remember how good of a rushing team this was last year. Now we're 25th. And yet we upgraded the running back room. I don't want to hear the Raheem Mostert chatter. Jalen Wright and Devon Achane at this stage of their career are better runners and more explosive than Raheem Mostert. I mean, we're going to get into the film in a bit here, and I'm going to show you. I still scratching my head why we got away from Jalen Wright. He had a 9-run gain the first time he touched the ball. Then he didn't see the ball till under 9 minutes left into the second quarter. Had an 8-yard run, and then he never saw the ball again. I watched one drive in the second quarter. My eyes were bleeding from watching this. We start off with an 8-yard run from Wright. Then we have a 13-yard run from Achane. Then instead of running on a reset downs, we decide we're going to drop Skylar back. He gets sacked. Then we drop him back again, 5-yard gain. Then we drop him back again, incompletion. Dolphins have to punt. 21 yards in 2 rushing plays, but then we decide we're going to put the ball in Skylar's hands and just keep dropping him back. Poor coaching, poor execution. Right now has the Miami Dolphins picking 7th and as one of the worst teams in the NFL the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks, you can make the argument we are one of the worst teams in the NFL. I mean, Carolina makes a quarterback change to Andy Dalton, and they go out here. And I mean, let's. This is a sad conversation to have right now, but we're gonna have it. All right. You know, the Panthers go out this week. All right. They put up 36 points against the Raiders with Andy Dalton. That's more points than the Miami Dolphins have put up all year. We were all feeling really good about the Jags win. How are we feeling after the last 2 weeks watching Trevor Lawrence and the Jags? Well, I'm patting myself on the back because when in 2020 people were telling us, well, just wait, tank for Trevor, and me and EM Dolphin fan were standing up here and telling people on the Tuesday night panel, Trevor Lawrence is not that dude like y'all think he is. And Trevor Lawrence sure is not that dude like everyone tried to make him out to be. Right now, the Miami Dolphins are one of the last 2 weeks, they have been one of the worst teams in the NFL. And Jason Stamps makes a good point. Look at the Panthers' weapons. It's not like they're out here with Tyreek. I mean, come on. Ugly. Ugly stuff, man. You don't know how many times I had to correct myself in my notes and take away from writing ugly. Godschild says, not saying it's over, but do we all agree that if it doesn't work out with McDaniel and Tua, can we start focusing on the trenches? Football starts on the line of scrimmage. Brother, what's the old adage? Games are won and lost in the trenches. I don't know what to tell you. I agree with you 110%. That's a GM thing. You need Greer to stop saying, okay, you make me the grocery list and I'll go out buy the groceries. No, you need a GM like Louis Riddick to come in here and say, listen, Mike, I'll take your input, but I'm bringing in my own coach, my own scouting staff. And guess what? I will draft based on what the talent I see available and I think you need on this team. That's it. I don't know what else to say. So, you know, but let's get into it because we got a couple things from McDaniel here. First of all, Mike McDaniel was asked about Skylar Thompson and the potential of, you know, Huntley or Boyle starting this week. And this is what his answer was.
Or will it be a Boyle-Huntley competition this week to determine that?
Well, I think, you know, as Skylar progresses, I think that leaves variables more vague.
How? Cut him with an injury settlement.
48 hours to kind of see where he's at, and then also to
This can't be real life.
You know, get in front of you know our the rest of the quarterback room and talk with them, talk with coaches, talk with some of the players to.
Yeah, and the players are going to tell you, give us Snoop.
Most comfortable with the varied uncertainty, and we'll just have to take it a day at a time. There's a lot of stuff on the table, and in moments, you know, that are broader than just the quarterback, but just the overall offense and the team in general. I think you have to open up your mind to a plethora of different solutions, considering your current answers as objectively you could evaluate haven't been the right ones.
Mike, I don't even know why this is a discussion. Why are you trying to protect Skylar's confidence in Skylar right now? The guy has shown you he is not a competent NFL starter. You're really going to live and die on that hill? You're really going to die on that Skylar hill? Because it's going to cost you your job, sir. because you're going to continue to get beat the way we just got beat by multiple touchdowns and with the game out of hand. And listen, I think Greer's going to fall on the sword if this all implodes and you don't win a playoff game and it's ugly. I think Greer's, but you're going to coach your way out of a job with this kind of stuff. You really are. You really are, brother. You know, I still think they're going to bring in a new GM and they're going to give you and that new GM what they gave you back when they hired you with Danny Crossman and Josh Boyer. They're going to tell the new GM, hey, we loved Mike around here. Have him make some concessions to what you want as a new GM, but give him a year to see if he can work it out. And if not, you have our blessing to move on from him. But at this rate, and with these type of decisions, you're going to force a hand here, bro. I don't know what else to say. I better not see Skylar trot out of there. I swear to God. The guy's not competent enough as an NFL starter to begin with. Now you're going to trot him out there with an injury? Oh, yeah, that'll go well. That'll go real well. That'll go real well. You got to know when to draw the line, brother. Not even just for your job, but for the good of this team and the good of that defense who they locked down in that second half. You got to start rewarding their efforts. You got to show the players in that locker room because, yeah, we got one of the oldest team, but what does that tell you? We got a lot of vets, you know, OBJ, Calais Campbell. They all came here to win. Poyer came here to win. You're going to sell them the Skylar Thompson narrative? These guys know what time it is. Please. And then Mike McDaniel was asked about play calling. And I got to say, I got a response for this.
I think that, you know, well, whatever it is, I think I'm a veteran enough to the National Football League that
not as a play caller,
I expect to field those types of questions randomly when your production isn't near what anyone
You've been
wants.
fielding the question about play calling for years now. Don't you get the hint?
I think it's important as the head coach and leader to take accountability for all decisions made, and then as well as what if we had numerous touchdowns that were terribly timed play calls that players just made right. I think you have to I don't just make that assessment. I think it would be incredibly irresponsible if I just went with the results. So, I think every time that I call plays, I'm de facto
results. It's a results-oriented business,
so
brother.
In the light that I think it's the best for the team. I wouldn't be able to. The game is not about me. That's first and foremost. The cost of the television packages to watch the games would be a lot less if people are trying to watch me. So I think that, inherently I take the responsibility super serious, and every time that I'm calling a game, it's based upon doing the best for the team. And the second, I wouldn't hesitate to change that procedure.
Listen to what he says
because
here.
It is my call. I would change it in a heartbeat if I thought somebody else gave the team a better chance to win. So ultimately, you have to.
And that's where I got you, Mike. I'm about to go in.
Ultimately you just have to be fully accountable for every decision you make, knowing that the results could be anyway, and I'm fully accepting of that.
Brother, you got the guy in the building. What are you talking about? Listen, when this was not a popular topic, remember, some of you in the chat that are here, you hated on me in 2022 when I started seeing the flaws in his play calling. I started seeing it right away in 2022. Right away. And I was suggesting what? I was suggesting Darrell Bevell. You've got the guy in the building. I'm not here for Frank Smith's feelings. If you got to pay him more money or you got to fire him and promote, you got to fire him. If you got to pay him more money to keep him happy or fire him and promote Bevel to OC, my friend, how many Super Bowls did Darrell Bevell go to as the Seahawks coordinator? Went to 2, won 1. Top 5 offense with Russell Wilson, who can't even play in structure very well. He's never been an in structure guy his whole time in the NFL. Which is why what's been intriguing to me, if Tua is out for the season, I mean, Russell Wilson's an intriguing name because you reunite him and Darrell Bevell. Everyone knows I want Sam Howell as well or Davis Mills, but Russell Wilson's intriguing in that sense. But still, I digress. You've got the guy. You've got a proven commodity at play calling in the building right now. He's literally one of the big guys responsible for the leap we've seen Tua take. You've literally got the guy in the building. But between your stubbornness with Skylar, and now I'm seeing a little bit of an ego come into play, it's the same kind of stuff we saw, the hubris we saw with Flores, but we're just seeing it in different ways right now. I've been saying since 2022 when it was unpopular and people in my own chat were hating on me and I was seeing the issues with his play calling and I was suggesting Darrell Bevell and I was being told it's way too early, blah, 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 blah. And now we're sitting here 3 years later and you still got the guy in the building. I don't know what to tell you, Mike. Between potentially giving Skylar another shot and not seeing you have Darrell Bevell in the building, you might need a thicker prescription of glasses, brother. I don't know what else to tell you. You might need the bottle caps. What are we talking about here? When we brought in Darrell Bevell, in 2022, I said this was one of the best acquisitions of the offseason of 2022 any team had made, player or coach. And look at where Tua's game has elevated to, leading the league in passing yards, leading the league in passer rating. Brother, design the plays. Be the head guy on game planning. But I'm telling you, Darrell Bevell has a better feel for the game and the flow of the game to call plays. It's evident. He's been to 2 Super Bowls as the offensive coordinator. And we all remember the peak Russell Wilson we remember was under who? Darrell Bevell. Right? Brett Favre followed Darrell Bevell to Green Bay's biggest rival, Minnesota. Because that's how much he believed in Darrell Bevell. You have the guy in the building, Mike. I don't know who you're trying to convince. It's yourself or Greer. I don't know who you're trying to convince. But I know what you have in that building. I've seen the potential of what you have in that building. And I've been saying it for 3 years, and now it's more evident than ever. Darrell Bevell needs to be given a shot to call plays. That's what I would do if I was in his position. Because right now, you are not showing you are trying every avenue and every option to right this situation between potentially looking at Skylar, which I hope that's just a smokescreen, and then coming out here and saying, well, if I had the guy in the building that I felt could do it, blah, 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 blah. Buddy, your play calling abilities are dwarfed in comparison to the resume of Darrell Bevell's as a play caller. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. We are seeing the stubbornness from Mike McDaniel that we saw in Flores. And we're seeing a little bit of the ego too. It's going to bite you in the ass, Mikey. It's going to bite you in the ass, brother. It really is. It really is. I don't know what else to say. I really don't at this point. When you can't see things that are right in front of you, give me a break. We got an issue. All right. Bad coaching, bad execution led to the Miami Dolphins loss in week 3. Can this be fixed? Well, let's talk about it and let's watch some film. I got about, 18 plays? 18 plays, offense and defense. We're going on both sides of the ball today. All right? I got 19 plays, sorry. We're going to roll through this. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on some plays. On some plays, I will spend a little bit more time. But let's get into this. Let's get into the film because I had to watch it. Now you got to watch it. All right. But I do have some things I want to go over here. All right. So let's start off. Here. Okay. So right here, this is 1st and 10 after the Seahawks took 2 plays to convert a first down on their first drive of the game. It's 11 personnel. Geno's in the gun. It's a 2-by-1 set. Dolphins show cover 6, 2-4, 2 to the left, 4 to the right. Watch Jalen Phillips right here, 15. He's just going to get absolutely manhandled by the tight end Barner. And then Geno's going to step up, find Lockett in the soft spot of coverage for 16 yards. Now, when we go to the God view, as I call it, or the goalpost view, as you normal people call it, watch Phillips here and watch his hands. He's going to get his hands way too high on the pad level of Barner, and he's just going to get out-muscled and he's going to have his momentum used against him, thrown to the ground. Just not an effective bull rush at all. You just weren't going to... He didn't win that power game. Now, in fairness to Jalen Phillips, like 1 or 2 reps later, he had a great inside move and, got a pressure, but still wanted to show that. 2nd and 10 now, Geno in the gun. You got Charbonnet starting his motion to the right. You got doubles to the left. It's a stack. 1 wide receiver to the right, 11 personnel. Dolphins are going to show cover 3 here. Watch this, all right? If you watch Charbonnet, Geno's actually going to have Charbonnet on the flat route, but he won't see it, and the coverage is going to be pretty good downfield. All right, you see he's got the flat. Like, you've got the flat route to the right there. But watch Deshaun Hand right here, 90. Right here. Watch Deshaun Hand. All right. He's coming on the left guard right now. All right. And, watch the effort he puts in. Look at that. Great stuff, right? Wins with a clean counter club on the inside. Got a free rush for the sack. Now, watch here. Watch Sealer. Watch Deshaun Hand, 90 and 92. You're going to see that shift right there, right? So, Sealer shifted pre-snap. Over the A-gap, right? Shading the outside shoulder of Connor Williams and the inside shoulder of Laken Tomlinson as a 1-tech. Hand shifts to a 3-tech here on the left. And again, watch 90 here. He's going to win with a clean counter club on the inside. Pretty good job here against the right guard. Boom. Look at that. Wins inside, gets inside, makes a sack. Great play by Deshaun Hand. Really good stuff. Seahawks would get a field goal on that drive, and they'd go up 3-0. Now, Skylar's in the pistol here. This is the first Dolphins drive of the game. Skylar's in the pistol on Miami's first drive. You got trips right. You got 1 receiver to the left. You got 21 personnel for Miami here. It's cover 2 for Seattle. Watch Skylar. He's going to do like a little stutter and then a toss to right on the left. I think a little bit was a confusion here. But watch right. Watch right here out of the pistol. He's going to gain 9 yards off that left edge. And the point of this is to show that Wright has this type of gain on his first touch, and he doesn't see another touch until under 9 minutes left in the second quarter. This is their first drive in the first quarter. How McDaniel didn't lean on Wright and Achane, let alone dumb down the offense with Skylar, is mind-boggling. And how is there not a horse collar there? Absolutely ridiculous. Blatant horse collar. Refs absolutely stunk this game. There is just no way around it. The refs absolutely stunk this game. But I don't know how there's not a horse collar there. Someone explain that one to me. Would love to hear your explanation on how that wasn't a horse collar. But the bigger malpractice here is that's Wright's first touch of the game on the first drive, and he doesn't see another touch. And it's his last touch of the game, which will show later. He gains 8 with under 9 minutes left in the second quarter. I mean, and the game is not out of hand. So now you got 3rd and 1.
Here comes the much anticipated wrinkle on the fullback dive. And you see Jeff Wilson Jr. in the I formation there, replacing Ingold. I mean, this is telegraphing what you're going to do. You're telling them on 3rd and 1, everyone knows you're loving that fullback dive right now. You take Ingold out for Jeff Wilson. Does anyone believe Jeff Wilson's going to be the lead blocker? Please. We would take you more seriously if you trotted out Jalen Wright. He's a better blocker. Anyways, Miami I formation, Skylar under center. 1-by-1 tight wide receiver set, 21 personnel. Watch Robert Jones, 65 here, the left guard. He's just going to give up the inside shoulder to Hankins, who just overpowers him. Hankins is going to get a hand on Jeff Wilson Jr. to slow him down and set him up to be cleaned up by Devin Witherspoon for the stuff. Absolutely brutal, as the Dolphins would then miss a field goal. But watch, you'll see it better here. Watch right there. Watch the one tech right there, 97. Shading the shoulders of Brewer and Robert Jones. Watch this. Look at everyone's cleaned off and sealed except Robert Jones. And look at, he gets enough of a hand on the shoulder of Jeff Wilson Jr. to slow him down, and you see 21 Devin Witherspoons right there just to clean it up. Come on, man. Got to be better than that. Now, this is going to be a little pain for Dolphin fans right here. All right? I'm sorry I had to do this to you. I really am. I really am sorry I had to do this to you, okay? 1st and goal on the Seahawks' next drive. It took 4 plays to get down to the Miami 4 after starting at their own 47 after the missed field goal. Geno's in the gun. Charbonnet's to his right here. 11 personnel, 1-by-2 set. Cover 1 red zone for Miami. Watch Connor Williams, the center here. Watch him. He's going to double Sealer with Tomlinson, and then he's going to disengage, and he's going to put Brooks on his ass to clear the way for Charbonnet, who hits the B gap for the easy 6. This is salt in the wound. Watch 57 here. This is Connor Williams. Watch him. Double Sealer, right? He knows Brooks is coming to fill that gap. Gets off and boom! Just puts him on his ass. Man, imagine Connor Williams to the left of Aaron Brewer instead of good old Robert Jones. My God. So 10-0 now, Seattle after the extra point. Dolphins get the ball. Next drive. 2nd and 1. This is 2nd and 1. This is 2nd and 1. This is not 3rd and 1. I am showing you 2nd and 1 right now. And this is what we're talking about with the play calling, Mike. All right? 2nd and 1, McDaniel decides to throw a wrinkle to his fullback dive. Problem is, it ain't 3rd down, Mike. I formation for Miami. Skylar under center. 2 receivers stacked to the left. 21 personnel. Seattle was shifted like a cloud 3-1 look with the Tyreek motion. And look at this. It's a fake fullback dive, what I've been calling for, and then a toss to the right. And it's just stuffed. And I'll show you why. Julian Hill off Austin Jackson's hips right now. He's going to get put on skates. Eichenberg, right guard. He's going to get disengaged by the defenders. And there's just going to be too many bodies to seal the edge and shut down Achane for a 4-yard loss. Brother, you run this on 3rd and 1. You do not run this. You do not run this on 2nd and 1. You run this on 3rd, given the trenches and the tendencies you've shown on film, because you'll get them to buy into the fullback dive if this is 3rd and 1. A lot easier. And you will suck in that defense. It's a decent wrinkle. It's what I've been calling for, but it's just a very poor time to call it. Very poor time to call it, in my opinion. Play calling is about timing and understanding the game flow, and that was just a poor job by Mike McDaniel, in my opinion, right there. I'm sorry. 3rd and 5 now. Skylar in the gun. Wright's to his right. 2-by-2 receiver set with You see the receivers stacked to each side, but Waddle will motion to the left. It's 11 personnel. Seahawks are going to show cover 2, but they'll drop to cover 1. Watch Skylar here. He's going to bobble this. He's going to bobble the snap. Right there. He bobbles the snap to start this play off. So we already know where this is heading. He's going to bobble the snap. And then a ghost comes in the backfield and punches the ball out for the fumble right there. Ugly. I mean, what is this, Skylar? People tried to convince us for 3 years through training camp, whatever, that this guy was the best on the roster. Give me a break. If you watch right here, 55, Draymond Jones, he's going to put Armstead on skates right here with a bull rush and some clean hand fighting. Play is just a disaster. I mean, and Robert Jones just pushes Draymond into the play further. Just a disaster from the beginning here. Ugly. And when you go back and you look, when you look at it too, though, here's the other thing too. Look at the coverage, right? The coverage when he drops back here, the coverage is actually pretty good. You know, like John who's being taken right there. The coverage is actually pretty good. I mean, you can hit Barrios underneath, but I mean, this guy can't even handle the snap, and then he fumbles it again. Like, how does Skylar have 2 fumbles in one? And this guy somehow finds a way to fumble it twice on one snap. Fumbles the snap. Then he fumbles the ball scrambling away. Jesus. Get this guy off my screen. All right. Next drive for Seattle, 3rd and 15. Geno Smith's in the gun. Charbonnet to his left. 1x2 receiver set. 11 personnel. Miami's going to drop to like a cover 3 robber look. And watch Ogba off that right edge there. Okay, watch Ogba off that right edge. He is going to get through on the twist. He's going to twist, stunt. And he's going to force the erratic throw from Geno that's picked off by Kohu. Look at, here's the twist right there. Right up the middle. Shoots up the gut. Almost gets a safety. But instead, we get a pick. We get the ball at the 6. Great work by the defense. Just great work by the defense here. And so close to getting that safety and then getting the ball back. Then again, given what we saw on the pending drive, would they even have scored after the 2 points? I highly doubt it. So, here's the thing. Check this one out. I didn't see this during the broadcast, but the All-22 showed us this, everyone. Guys, Achane should have had 6 here. Achane should have had 6 here. I got to call out my guy. You know, there's not a bigger Achane fan in this fan base than me. You know, I was talking about him over a year before we drafted him. I was saying he's the perfect guy for this offense. There ain't a bigger Achane fan than me. But check this one out. The film revealed something very telling here, and this could have changed the game a little bit. 1st and goal, and I'll show you why later as we get into the film, why it could have changed the game. 1st and goal, Skylar in the pistol with Achane, 1x1 split set for Miami. Ingold as an H-back here, 21 personnel for Miami. Cover 1, red zone for Seattle. Watch this. I want you to watch the left side of the line. Follow Ingold. Follow Ingold here on this, okay? The lane is going to come in the B gap. It's right there. And look at Achane saw it, tried to cut back, and he slipped. Watch it in full motion. He sees the lane, tries to cut back, and he slips. He sees it. Brutal. Awful luck. You're going to see it better here. Follow Ingold, and you will see the lane. Follow Ingold to the lane, and then watch Achane, and you'll see why he slips. This is awful luck. This should have been finished off for 6 points, and 10 times out of 10, Achane. Look at that. It was there. It's there. And he's trying to cut back, but he can't. He slips. And what's crazy is 10 times out of 10, he finishes that. Good job by Ingold and Armstead on that play to open it up. Need to finish that. Especially when you got Skylar. You need to finish that, man. But the lane was there. The lane was there. All right. 3rd and 4 now on that same drive. Skylar in the pistol with right. 2 receivers stacked to the left and 2 split to the right. 21 personnel. Cover 1 again for Seattle. Skylar's going to show zero ability to process, read the field, or anticipate all in one play again. You're going to see Wright's going to motion out. And watch Waddle down here in the stack at the bottom. He's going to absolutely cook his man with a step outside. Then he's going to release inside and get behind the coverage on his corner route. And then at the top here, you're going to have Achane coming across on the slant at the top of the screen here. And Skylar doesn't see either one. Skylar's going to be actually looking at Waddle, but he clearly doesn't trust. Look at. Look at where his head is. Here's the release. Look. He's still looking. The problem is Skylar's waiting for guys to get open instead of anticipating them getting open. Because he's not reading leverage. He's not reading the defense. And then what does he do? I want you to look at the play. From the top to the bottom. Everything is moving to the left side of the field. So what does Skylar do? Well, let's move to the right. Kills the play for himself. Defense gives the Dolphins great field position, but I've just shown you a few blown opportunities here. One on Achane, one on Thompson. And they come away with a field goal, 10-3. Sorry, Skylar's just not seeing the field, man. You know, why was Andy Dalton so successful this week with Carolina? Because he was reading the defense. He was seeing the field. He was processing far quicker, far better than what Bryce Young was. And people tried to tell you this guy is better than Tua. Remember that. All right. Play 11, Seattle gets the ball back. They make us pay immediately. 1st and 10, Geno in the gun. Charbonnet to his left. 2x2 doubles set for Seattle. Cover 6-2-4 for Miami. Watch Metcalf. Metcalf is going to run basically a digging up. He's going to sell the dig hard with a good jab step. Watch Holland bite. Way too hard on that dig. And DK is gone when he releases up for the 1-yard touchdown. Look at the bite. He caused a massive false step from Holland, and then just sells it upstream, and he's gone. Holland got put on ice by DK Metcalf. Just got put on ice. We'll watch it again so you can see it in full motion. He just got put on ice. And if you want to see something too, watch Connor Williams. He's going to own Deshaun Hand. But 17-3 in the blink of an eye. Watch DK. Ready? Sells the dig, jab, up. Look at that. Wow. Gone. 71 yards. Got to be better, Holland, especially because you want to be extended. There's a couple other rough plays for Holland, but for the most part, he was okay. So watch Connor here. He's going to just dominate Deshaun Hand. Just dominates Deshaun Hand here. Get out of here. Boom. Ugly. Ugly. All right. So now next drive for Miami. 3rd and 11. Skylar in the gun with Wilson Jr. to his right. 2x2 twin set or double set, whatever you want to call it. 11 personnel for Miami. Seattle's going to drop to cover 4 out of cover 2 look here. Skylar's going to move off to his left. If you watch here, you have to read the leverage. And you got to see Jonnu up here in that left slot. Off his release, you got to know the route, the concepts, and the leverage. And you got to see that he's running a seam route and they give him an inside release towards the middle of the field. And that's where the throw needs to go. Instead, Skylar's going to underthrow Tyreek at the top of the screen on his deep curl. And luckily he does, because the defender bailed on Jonnu because he was reading Skylar's eyes, and they've now bracketed Tyreek. If this ball makes it there, that's picked off. Instead, it's short. I mean, you got to read the leverage. You got to know your concepts and your routes. And this is just, watch Jonnu out of the slot. He's going to get a seam route, and look at the inside release he gets. You could move off that spot still, reset, and make that throw. Nope. Instead, they read the eyes because you're watching Tyreek the whole way, and the defender on Jonnu bails to try and undercut your throw to Tyreek. Ugly. This should have been an interception. Skylar got away with one here. Miami also has to punt, but Skylar got away with one right here. There's just no other two ways about it. You got away with one, Skylar. Say 3 Hail Marys and count your blessings. So now it's 1st and 10 after a missed Seahawks field goal. And I'm just showing this. This is the play I was talking about. This is now the second time Wright's going to get the ball. There's just under 9 minutes left in the second quarter. He had a 9-yard run on the first drive of the game. Here's Wright again. And I'm just showing you this to show how effective Wright was the 2 times he got the ball and how brutal it was he wasn't given more opportunities. Look at this. Watch this. You've got cover 2 for Seattle. It's a 21 personnel shotgun. It's like a flex bone formation. It's like a wishbone, flex bone formation. And look at this. Watch. Shout out to Armstead. He's going to just help with the chip and he's going to beast and then get to the second level. But you're getting chunk yards running inside. The Dolphins are averaging 4.6 yards on 20 rushes up the middle, which is 13th in the NFL. On runs off the edge, left or right, Miami's 24th. I mean, and if you want to go specific, to the left they're 20th, to the right they're 23rd. But you're 13th in the NFL running up gaps. You've got 2 gap runs from Wright here. And you decide to, and now Wright doesn't touch the ball again for the rest of, and the game's not out of hand. You're only down 2 scores. And this will be the last time Wright touches it. Great job by Armstead there. I'm wondering if that's where he got hurt. If you look at him here, he's like holding his eye and stuff. I'm wondering if that's where the pain started for Armstead. But explain that to me. And then here, I'll do you one better. The very next play, 1st and 10. Skylar in the pistol with Achane. 21 personnel, 1-by-1 receiver set. Cover 2 for Seattle. Ingold, he's going to motion in. It's just a great job by the O-line blocking there. 13-yard gain from Achane again, running up the gaps. Running up the middle. This is the very next play after that right play. Miami's gashing them on the ground to start the drive. But what do they do after this? They drop back 3 straight times because why not? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Like, you are moving the ball and moving bodies up the middle. Why are you getting away from it? Look, great vision by Achane to follow his leads. Great job by Achane. Great job by Wright. Man. Instead, you're putting the ball in Skylar's hands for the next 3 plays. And this is now the next play after that Achane run. It's 1st and 10. Skylar in the split back shotgun look, 21 personnel. Doubles to the left. Cover 2 initially for Seattle, but they'll drop to cover 6-4-2. You're going to have Achane orbit motion. Just a brutal job by the left guard, Robert Jones here. Just a brutal job. Doesn't even slow down Derek Hall, who cleanly gets by Smythe. Watch, because Robert Jones is going to pull to the right. Right? Look at Derek Hall gets cleanly by Smythe. Look at this. What's that effort, Robert? What is that effort on the pull? You're useless in space. You're useless pulling. How many times do I got to say every week how useless Robert Jones is at time? This is a poor angle. This is a poor effort from Robert Jones here. Now, and I'll show you right there. That all said, again, what do we see? The lack of anticipation from Skylar. Watch Achane here. Watch Achane. Watch Achane on the wheel at the top of your screen now. Come on, brother. You don't even look that way. You're not reading the defense. You're not processing. What are you doing? You've got the time here to lay that out. Achane's right there, brother. You've got time. Derek Hall's not there yet. Step up and let her rip. Come on, bruh. Robert Jones, incompetent. Skylar Thompson, incompetent. And it leads to a sack. After 2 great back-to-back run plays. And this is the guy you want to put the ball in the hands of? Come on here. And now what would Miami do? They would punt after 2 more pass plays. A 5-yard completion to Waddle and then an incompletion on 3rd down. Just awful stuff, man. Just awful stuff. We needed this game to expose and cut ties. Brother, I would be putting injury settlement, Skylar. I wouldn't even be discussing or even leaving the door open for him to start. All right, Seattle has the ball back. 1st and 10 after a 17-yard gain from Lockett on a Geno Smith pass. Geno's in the gun, empty backfield, 3-by-2 receiver set. Cover 4 for Miami here. Sealer's going to just dominate. Watch Sealer here. He's going to dominate Charles Cross with a beautiful push-pull move. Look at this. Watch this push-pull technique from Sealer. This is textbook stuff. Watch this. Push, pull. Great stuff. Gets by. Sacks Geno for a loss of 7. Absolutely great play. Watch him again here. When you engage, you push, then you rip and pull back towards you, and he just puts Cross on the ground. Now, Seattle wouldn't recover and would have to punt a few plays later, but great job by Zach Sealer. Look at that. Woo! Great stuff. Great stuff. That is a great play. All right. Miami gets the ball back now. Still down 17-3. Now, we know the refs missed the horse collar. That caused an Achane run to be... They also caused an Achane run to be blown up because Ingold thought the play was dead. But here's another one where their incompetence cost Miami. It's 3rd and 11 right here after an Eichenberg false start. You got empty backfield, Skylar in the gun. 3-by-1 set, 11 personnel. Seattle's in a 2-high shell there. Watch Lamb. Watch the left tackle. Lamb's going to clearly false start, but the play is allowed to go off. Watch Lamb false start, then shift your eyes to the secondary of the Seattle Seahawks because the whole secondary is going to say, hey, he false started, blow the whistle dead. So the 3 receivers at the top of your screen, what are they going to do? They're going to stop running their routes. Skylar's going to get hung out to dry here, and he's going to have to eat the sack. And this should have never happened. Look, everyone thinks it's dead. And Scott has to run for his life. What are we saying, refs? And then they get the call wrong in the end and they called an illegal formation. Look, that's a false start. Lamb right there, clear. But watch the receivers. We're all looking that way. Watch the receivers now. The secondary's calling for it. The receivers stop running their routes. Look at this. And we got to eat a sack because of it. Instead of 3rd and 16, it's now 4th and 19. Miami would then take an illegal formation penalty on Julian Hill and a Duke Riley unnecessary roughness. It would lead to a punt on 4th and 39. Leave it up to the Dolphins to make a bad situation worse. And I mean, hell, look at Skylar getting up. Like, what the hell? That's not fair to Skylar. All right, let's skip ahead now to the 4th quarter. Skylar's hurt and he's out. And so Boyle is in. Now, we're going to watch 2 plays here. Remember, Achane should have had that touchdown earlier in the game. So really, we should be sitting at about 17-10 right now. Right? If you do the math, because they haven't scored their final touchdown to seal it yet. So this is Boyle. It's a 2nd drive. Miami's still down 17-3, but the defense is keeping them in it. This is 1st and 10 after a Boyle scramble for 6 is followed by 2 Achane runs to move the sticks. You got Boyle in the gun here. Wilson Jr. to his right. Ingold motions to his left. 1-by-1 receiver set. 21 personnel. Seattle's in cover 2. You're going to have Wilson's going to motion out. Wilson is going to motion out to the left after Ingold. Watch Boyle here. Boyle fakes the toss, resets. Look at Jonnu. Look where Jonnu is when he starts... when he starts corking up, when Boyle starts his motion to throw, look where Jonnu is right now. Right? And he's running like a shallow cross. And look at that. Boom. Look at that. You got an underhanging linebacker. You got a defender over the top. That's bracketed coverage, baby. And that is a great throw. And this is the type of stuff Skylar just was not offering you when he was in there. This is a great read. This is very nice placement by Tim Boyle. And this is just stuff we weren't seeing when Skylar was in there. He doesn't have the ability right now as a passer in the NFL to make this throw. 13-yard gain. Big stuff. Good stuff there. I love this throw. This was the second best throw of the game by a Dolphins quarterback. Now I'm going to show you the best throw of the game. So remember, like I said, Achane should have had that touchdown earlier, right? So technically, we should be sitting around, 17-10 right now. All right? Now, this is probably the best throw of the game from either Miami QB. The throw I just showed would probably be the number 2 throw. Same drive. Miami's at the 2-yard line on the 3rd and goal, needing a score here. Boyle's in the gun with Achane to his left. Trips bunch to the left. 1 receiver to the right. 21 personnel for Miami. Watch this. Watch Smythe here in the bunch set. He's going to fight through the jam, and Boyle's going to drop an absolute dime on Smythe's shallow corner out route, but he can't hold it. Come on, brother. You got to make that catch. Smythe this season has shown he left his hands in 2023 with Miami's number 1 offense. You're down 17-3 with your 3rd string quarterback in there. You have to make this play. This is the right read. This is the right throw. Miami would then have an incompletion on 4th down, and they would leave with no points on this drive after this. Seattle on the next drive would then make it 24-3 and put the game out of reach. But if Achane scores earlier off the Kohu, or Thompson makes the throws that I show were available when we got the ball inside the 6, and Smythe converts this, you got a 17-17 game. You got to make this catch, Durham. I just don't know what else to say to you. Got to make that catch, brother. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I just showed 2 throws there. Great anticipation. Great, good dime throws by Tim Boyle. And I get it, it's Tim Boyle. He's not a world beater. But he sure offered you a lot more. He's been in this offense under 1 month, and he showed you more. He operated the offense more. He operated the offense better. He was more decisive. He was processing and reading the field and the defense much quicker and better and effectively. He's been here since August 29th. Skylar Thompson been here for 3 years. Skylar Thompson should not be touching the field. It's got to be Tim Boyle or Tyler Huntley. And the only other option right there for a quick fix is, and it's not really a fix, is Mike White because he knows the playbook so well. Elpad says, reason do they need to move Jonnu from the F position to the starting tight end? I mean, you can be both. Let's be honest with you. You can be both. But just ugly. Ugly stuff, man. Now, Achane hits that hole, 17-10 game. Defense keeps playing the way it does. Smythe catches that ball, 17-7 game. So can it be fixed? Yeah, it can be fixed. There are fixes here. That drive where you gave an 8-yard run to Wright and then a 13-yard run to Achane. Why are you dropping Skylar back right after that? Run the ball again. Until they show you that they can stop it, run the ball on that drive. So, bad coaching, poor player execution, as we've seen here from the quarterback play with Skylar to personnel itself. You got the Julian Hill penalties, the Smythe drop, Achane not hitting that hole when you're down to Skylar Thompson, every snap counts. You got to make the most of them. Tough stuff, man. Real tough stuff. I don't know what else to say. It can be fixed, though. It can be fixed. Should have been in that game with Tim Boyle. Think about that one for a sec.
Anyways, like I said, this episode is powered by BetUS. Week 4 point spreads and lines are out, except for the Miami Dolphins, because I guess they're waiting to see what our quarterback situation is right now. But go over there, use code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. Get your first 3 deposits matched by 150% up to $2,000. All right? All you got to do is use code YouTube150. First 3 deposits matched by 150% up to $2,000. Go make some money. Go alleviate the pain that is being a Dolphins fan. Just gamble responsibly. So, guys, like I said, Richmond's dealing with some personal issues. Send prayers up to him. I'm going to be back later this week. Got Fin Too Deep on Thursday, game preview on Friday, live reaction on Sunday. I'll probably be back tomorrow for a solo show. So, do me the favor, smash the like button. Once again, shout out to BetUS for powering this video. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you on the next one. Fins up all day, every day, baby.